Now I'm hearing something about pickleball. What the fuck is that? And I'm hearing something about live events potentially happening for that as well.
Yeah, pickleball, not pickle Rick, pickleball. You know, basically right. It's a mix of badminton. It's take like a tennis racket. I was trying to explain like this. A tennis racket. You know how it's like an oval on the end. It's like basically a tennis racket, but it has this big like square. It's a like a big kind of yellow wiffle ball kind of thing, and then it's a tennis court. So it follows all the rules of tennis, but it uses this bigger ball and it has like a bigger racket. And this is like this sport is growing like 690% this past year, which is nuts because you see all these other sports declining like MLB, NBA, NFL, etc. They're all declining in numbers while pickleball is growing. And the USA Pickleball Association, that they basically came out and they said it's not even like old people playing the sport. It's like growing in the younger generation. And you see like big time names investing into it, like Gary Vee, etc. And I think this could actually be like a big time sport because it's more accessible to people. It's an easier sport to basically learn than tennis. It's kind of like a playoff of tennis, and it's not even that expensive to play. Like if you look at football, you have pads, you have helmets, you have all that kind of shit. That's expensive. That's an expensive sport, and in this day and age in the economy, not a lot of people have this kind of money to give their children to play sports. You could get started with pickleball for like a racket costs like $20 on Amazon or like Dick's Sporting Goods. It's like literally nothing, and a ball's maybe like I don't know $5. So like for under $25, and then it's basically like a park, like anywhere where there's a tennis court, and they have like tennis courts all over the place in parks. You could just basically play pickleball on the court because it uses the same court as a tennis ball. So all the infrastructure is already there. They don't have to spend any money on infrastructure. And yeah, I think this is going to be like a big time sport. There's a lot of people investing into like leagues and stuff like that. I think this new sport is going to grow on the horizon, and this might be like investing in the NFL in the 30s, like Rooney and the Pittsburgh Steelers did. This could be like a big time investment if you can get a hand in one of the teams in like the premier pickleball league. But it's kind of hard to determine what league is going to become the premier pickleball league for the USA and the world.
Yeah, I was just reading a little bit about this in the time that you spoke about this. It looks like Mark Lasry of the Milwaukee Bucks. I believe he's the co-owner of the team. He's like a big investor with Gary Vee. That's so interesting. Anything where there's like a new frontier, particularly in the realm of sports, I'm all in favor of. I love learning about stuff like that. It seems like such an interesting thing. I'm definitely going to have to explore that further. But as
Yeah,
far as anything like where you see this sport going, like where do you see this sport going? Like what time of year is this thing kind of played? I would imagine probably not in the snow. It looks like it's mostly outdoors unless they have indoor pickleball arenas. But
well,
like
it's played in like the same environments that you would play, like say, like tennis or something in that regard. And it's gaining traction. They have like these big tournaments or whatever like that. Like there's like $100,000 pickleball tournaments where people are entering. So with money comes all incentives, and it's drawing a lot of people into the sport. And then, there's $100,000 tournament. There's $125,000 tournament in New York City. There's all these like big time tournaments. So you might even see some like tennis players like move over to pickleball. Like say some of the lower tier tennis players that can't win tournaments, etc. They might shift over to pickleball, and I think that's an interesting strategy that they should explore. Trying to get some tennis players over to maybe they'll bring over their fans in the new sport. Maybe they'll bring over some eyeballs. That might be something for them to explore.
yeah, absolutely. I totally agree. Totally agree.